And then just going on to sort of retrofit, Clint, and sort of the impact on sort of AWAB's law. So, what sort of practical steps or examples would you recommend to ensure that retrofits improve homes without creating those additional risks?
Yeah, it's a valid question. We were talking about through some of the pictures on the bit I was speaking there around some of the bad examples that you see up and down the country. And I think that the key is to do work with competent contractors. So it's important to do the right work in the right order with the right follow-up checks to be done by the contractor and also the relevant stakeholders in the industry. It's a whole house thinking approach, and you shouldn't just be throwing one measure such as insulation in without considering the associated effects of that, such as ventilation. So a very strong ventilation strategy with tracking moisture movement, heating systems. You wouldn't and shouldn't install insulation without considering the proper ventilation, because that could and will make the condensation and damp worse. We always pair it with a ventilation strategy with air tightness testing, making sure there's adequate ventilation, such as trickle vents, extractor fans in bathrooms and kitchens, and undercuts on doors and various other things with that. That kind of installation should also be paired with pre and post work surveys, as well as during the works using RDSAP, retrofit assessments, and checking the baseline of the property, documenting the damp and mold or any structural issues before the works can start, and then rechecking afterwards to confirm the risk have been reduced, so you know you're making an actual difference in that home. Along with making sure you're installing and sticking to PAS 2035 and 2030 standards, making sure the installers are also trained and supervised. A poor install, or even a good install, can and is what causes most risks. So if you insulate a solid wall property in Rochdale, for example, you should always be checking that kitchen and bathrooms have working extractors, trickle vents on all windows, and we'd follow up with post-install surveys to make sure the humidity levels have dropped, not increased. So it's a bit of a round robin of a number of different factors there. So doing the right work in the right order, and most importantly, following that up with the right checks.